Thank you, Tina. Hi, everyone. I'm Larry. I have a company called House of Legend. We're here in Brooklyn, and we make iPhone and iPad apps. Just like everybody in the iPhone app business, we've only been at this for a few years. And before that, I spent about 10 years in music. I worked as a jazz musician. I worked as a producer, and I worked as a hip-hop recording engineer. About 5 years ago, the music industry started to go down the tubes. So I realized I needed to make a change. I got back in touch with my computer nerd roots, and when iPhone apps became a thing in 2009, I got myself a book, and a few months later, I was getting paid to make iPhone apps. 3 years later, I have several successful apps in the store, and I'm up to my ears in new projects. So I feel really lucky to have discovered something else in life that I was born to do even more than make music. And there's a key insight that I learned very, very slowly during my time in music that is a huge help to what I do now. And it turns out it applies directly to the sort of work that we all do as skilled professionals. It has to do with people, and it has to do with craft. And by craft, I mean your trade, your passion, your super, totally badass skills. And that big insight is that people are more important than craft. And before you kick me off the stage, let me assure you, I am one of you. Believe me, I did not come to this perspective easily. To start with, I am a perfectionist, and I'm somebody who admires mastery of craft to a fault. What's more, I'm a huge introvert, so if all the people go away, I'm totally happy. More craft for me. All of these qualities are things that really help early on when you're starting out. I must be bumping this here. So take a look at this transcription of a John Coltrane solo. I mean, look at that. Music is hard. Now take a look at this studio equipment. I mean, look at all those knobs. That stuff is complicated. Now, most people take a look at the kinds of things that we all do, and they say, no, I'm not going to do that. That looks way too hard. I think I'm going to do something else. But like me, you went and did it. You got in there, and you got good at what you do. And because mastery of music was so difficult for me to come by, I thought that it was the most important part of the job. Along the way, I eventually learned that there's something much more important, and that's people. So it started with one of my teachers in music school. He said, it was in the middle of a band rehearsal, and he stopped everybody, and he said, "Man, you kids think it's all about being hip and having a lot of chops. Jazz musicians really do talk like that." He said, "Wait till you get out of school. You're going to find out that the person who gets the gig is the person who knows how to hang. Nobody hires you because you're the best musician. They hire you because they hire that guy, he's got a car, and he can get his own damn self to the gig." Now, I didn't really believe it at the time. A few months later, though, my band leader, I was on a summer cruise ship gig, and he said to me, "Larry, I know piano players who are better than you. I hired you because I knew I could tolerate you for 3 months on a boat." And the same thing happened in the studio. When I started, I was focused on the equipment. And my new boss said to me, "Look, 95% of this job is just dealing with people. And the other 5% is knowing what to do when something breaks." And don't get me wrong, mastery is essential. I played my hip-hop beats for a big-time manager once. And he listened to them and he said, "Well, your beats, they're good. But they need to be undeniable." The problem is that hyper-focused intensity that you need to go through to get your stuff undeniable starts to be a liability. The problem is the big challenges, they're out here with the people, not in here with the little tiny details. So if you don't switch your mindset, then you miss the big picture. And back in the studio, I realized that my clients weren't really hiring me because I was so badass at turning those knobs. They were hiring me for other reasons, mostly because I could guide them through the creative process. Now replace bass player with client, drummer with programmer, singer with corporation, and you've got yourself a conference call. Charlie Parker is famous for having said, supposedly, you learn everything you can, and then you just forget it and play. Ironically, embracing that fact is the only way to fully master your craft. After all, there is really no such thing as craft for craft's sake. If you're not doing the people part, then that's a part of your craft that you're neglecting. Now, here's the final catch. There's Charlie Parker. All right. The bio of a jazz musician or a kung fu master traditionally goes like this. 1, achieve complete and total mastery over a period of about 50 years. 2, forget it all and be one with the universe. 3, profit. Now, 500 years ago or even 50 years ago, this was a totally reasonable approach. The problem with this formula nowadays is the world completely flips on its head every 1 to 2 years. So, especially in the fields that we're in. So we need to revise the schedule. 1, achieve complete mastery. 2, lunch. 3, be one with the universe and the people on your afternoon call. 4, resume complete mastery. 5, repeat. So John Coltrane was a legendary for making this sort of context switch. He'd go out in a club and he'd play a set of the most beautiful, moving music. Then in the break, he'd go back to the dressing room and practice before returning to the stage to play more deep, beautiful music that touched the people in the audience. In the end, we need to master our craft and then get over it and focus on the people. By embracing this duality every day, we improve while remembering what's important. It keeps the journey interesting, and that's good because it takes a lifetime.